At the beginning of last week, the popular Spanish newspaper Marca ran a very comprehensive headline, practically guaranteeing that the 2024 Ballon d'Or would go to Vinicius Jr. And then, today, his former teammate and recently retired German player Toni Kroos gave an interview and also spoke a lot about Vinicius Jr. and who, in his opinion, really deserves the award. Another person who also spoke about this award and about Vini was Neymar, who also spoke with Marca. Stick around until the end, and we'll show you why it's almost guaranteed that Vini will take the Ballon d'Or home, along with all of Toni Kroos and Neymar's words on the matter, and I want to know if you agree with the German or not. Pero antes de continuar, por favor, deja tu like y suscribir al canal para ayudarnos a llegar a los 1000 suscriptores. No olvides activar la campanita de notifications para no perder ningún video. Primero pasemos al reto de llegar a la meta de 500 me gusta para este video. Ahora que ya te has suscrito, vamos con la noticia. So, folks, when we talk about the 2024 Ballon d'Or, it's become very common to hear people saying they're going to find a way to take the award out of Vini's hands. After all, throughout this season, they've tried to put 5 different players ahead of him for the award. First, it was Mbappe, who started the season scoring goal after goal, then came Bellingham, who also started flying at Real Madrid, then Kroos, when he announced he would retire at the end of the season, finally, Carvajal, who won the Champions League and the Euro, and more recently, Rodri, who I even showed here on the channel over the past few months with several articles from different newspapers indicating that, after the Euros, the Spanish midfielders' chances of winning were growing a lot. However, the fact is that, in recent days, everything indicates that the award will indeed be in the Brazilians' hands on October 28, the day of the official ceremony. As I said, the popular Spanish newspaper Marca featured Vinicius on the cover last week with the headline "All Roads Lead to Gold." Going deeper into the article, they guarantee that the individual performance the Brazilian put up in the final stretch of the last Champions League is what's securing the Ballon d'Or for him. For those who don't remember, he scored a goal in the round of 16 against Red Bull Leipzig, 3 assists against Pep Guardiola's mighty Manchester City in the quarterfinals, 2 goals against Bayern in the semi-finals, and a goal against Borussia Dortmund in the grand final. They also include in that account the Spanish Super Cup final, where he secured the title for Real Madrid by scoring no less than a hat-trick against Barcelona. And also the match, at the time, for the lead in La Liga against Girona, where he left with a goal and 2 assists. In that match, he played so well that the Brazilian fullback Yen Couto, who was at Girona at the time and was responsible for marking Vini, left the field crying. In the same report, they also mention that Vini's main competitors are within Real Madrid, like Bellingham, who also won the Champions League and reached the final of the Euros, but they make it very clear that he will be below the Brazilian because he didn't have as strong a second half of the season, given everything I mentioned about Vini's accomplishments. And also Carvajal, a Champions League and Euro champion, but who won't go as far because of the position he plays. An interesting point made in the article is that journalists from Asia and Africa, who vote for the Ballon d'Or, don't usually vote for players who aren't forwards, which already makes players like Bellingham, Carvajal, and Rodri lose a lot of votes. Another piece of evidence showing that the award is practically decided and will indeed go to the Brazilian is the odds in the major betting houses. Until a few weeks ago, it was fairly balanced between Vini and Rodri, but now, since the end of September, Vini's odds have dropped to a level that shows no one else believes any other player could win. Well, now that you understand that the award is practically guaranteed to be in Vini's hands, only a miracle could stop him from winning, let's take a look at Toni Kroos' words about him and the award. Open quotes. Do I think I'll be among the top contenders for this Ballon d'Or? It's possible because I had a great season with Madrid, but I don't think about it for even a second. I think Vinicius will win this year, and it will be totally deserved. At the club level, his season was close to perfection. From what little I see, it seems the chances are very high, and I will be sincerely happy if that happens. He's a humble boy, and despite being very young, he's very mature. It's common in Spain to hear people say that he's provocative and controversial on the field, but those of us who work with him every day for years know his humility and character. I believe this award will not only recognize his 2024 season but also the previous years. Maybe he wasn't number one before, but he was placed lower than he deserved. It will be great for him to win now because it's the result of what we've been seeing him do day after day, year after year. I'm rooting for him, and I'll be happy if it happens. And another big name who also commented on this, giving an interview to Marca, was Neymar, who said, "Of course, I'm going to support him to win the Ballon d'Or this year. For me, there's no better candidate to win. He's someone who deserves it because he's a fighter. He's suffered a lot throughout his life but has surpassed all expectations and criticisms. He has become an idol for us." After Neymar's comments about Vini's potential Ballon d'Or win leaked, I couldn't help but notice a lot of people commenting things like, "Wow, it's bizarre to think that Vinicius Jr. is going to win the Ballon d'Or, and Neymar, who had much more talent and ability, will end his career without that award." And well, I totally agree that Neymar is much more skilled and talented than Vinicius Jr. But it's not really a fair comparison because other factors are very important too. It's that old story of being in the right place at the right time. Ronaldo Fenomeno, for example, despite being one of the best and greatest of all time, never won the Champions League, while Douglas, ex-Barcelona, did. Of course, it's an absurd example, but it's just to make clear how important being in the right place at the right time is. The fact is that Neymar spent many of his peak years competing against Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, and none of the players currently in the race for the award would have been able to beat those two. That 2015 season, for instance, when he won the Champions League with Barcelona and finished third in the Ballon d'Or behind only those two legends, would have been more than enough to win the award today. That's why many say Neymar was the best of the humans. However, at the same time, we can't deny that Neymar also had a bit more neglect with his career, especially after going to PSG. Since mid-2023, when Neymar was 31 years old, Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo were no longer playing at the highest level in Europe. Therefore, if Neymar had been a bit more dedicated and was still playing at a high level, it could be his time to shine. Of course, he wouldn't be the 25-year-old Neymar, but we've seen recent cases of players over 30 winning the award, like Madrid, who won it at 33 in 2018, and Benzema, who won it at 34 in 2022. And we know the Brazilian is more talented than both. So, for me, it would have been totally possible. So, it was a combination of lack of interest and bad luck playing in the same era as two of the greatest players in history. But getting back to this year's Ballon d'Or, besides Neymar and Kroos, Ancelotti also made a brief comment yesterday on whether he thinks Vini deserves it or not. Stay tuned, champions. Anyway, folks, the award is practically guaranteed to be in Vini's hands. Si le gaste hasta aquí, deja tu comentario diciendo que te pareció la noticia, y no te olvides de dejar tu like y suscribir al canal. Big football names have already been supporting this, and now, I want to hear from you, who watched the video up to this point. Since this news came out, many have started saying that football is declining because a player of Vinicius' level winning the Ballon d'Or is almost pathetic, according to some comments. What do you think? Did he really play so well and deserve the award? Or do you agree with those saying the level is dropping in this generation, and that's why Vinicius will end up taking the award home? Comment below your honest opinion on this controversy and why, and I'll pin the best comment so everyone who watches the video can see. May God bless you, and thank you.